What is up, boys and girls? It's your pal right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. We are coming at you with a special Sunday night edition of the RCWR show. It's our post-show edition as we are talking Fallout from Ring of Honor's Best in the World 2014 pay-per-view. That's right, Ring of Honor had made its debut on pay-per-view through various satellite providers, cable providers. Take your pick. You had plenty of options to check out the pay-per-view, even online through iPay-per-view or through their Ustream pay-per-view that they got set up and everything. But if this was a pay-per-view that you just said to yourself, I don't really care too much for that promotion, you really are missing out. We're going to give you guys all the fixings. I'm going to be brutally honest with this pay-per-view because I'm still relatively new to the ROH product. I only started checking it out religiously. Oh, wait a minute. We got a little bit of echo here, guys. Wait a minute. I hate when that happens. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Hate when that happens. But anyway, yeah, this was a pay-per-view that I'm just going to be brutally honest with you because, like I was trying to say before we had all that interference in there, I've been following the ROH promotion since the beginning of this year. I mean, I kind of took a little bit of a glance at it off and on during the years, definitely within the past 3 years, but I really didn't start focusing on the ROH product until the beginning of this year, and I've been making it my business to check out the ROH product when they do ROH TV every single week. I usually probably do like most of you guys that really are not able to check it out on television and check out a bulk of the episodes online. And never a dull moment every single time I turn on the ROH product. And I'm definitely very humbled and very honored, as it really is an honor to be able to talk about the Best in the World pay-per-view tonight. Now, for those of you that had saw the ROH Best in the World pay-per-view event, I definitely want to get your take on what you had thought about it tonight. So feel free to post those comments down below. If it's your first time checking us out, welcome. And hey, I'd love to have you subscribe to us so that you never miss out on all the great content that we do for you guys here on a weekly basis, whether it comes to breaking news, great reviews, or kicking back and having some really great and insightful laid-back interviews. We do a little bit of everything for everybody. Now, this episode is being sponsored in part by Audible.com, where you can sign up for a free trial to get an Audible book and a 1-month free trial courtesy of us. Just use our URL, audibletrial.com/the RCWR show. Whether you're into wrestling, maybe you're into politics, romance, sci-fi, whatever your cup of tea is, Audible.com definitely has you hooked up. Just make sure you use our URL to take advantage of your free audiobook and a 1-month free trial. Go to audibletrial.com/the RCWR show. Give this piece a thumbs up, retweet it, Facebook it, Google Plus it, as it's one of the many ways you can spread a good word about us. Keep those comments coming in down below. Hit us up on Twitter at the RCWR show, and we'll definitely do our best to get you involved on this post show. All right, so forgive me in advance if I mess up through some of these names. Forgive me if I don't really walk a lot of you through all the nitty and gritty of some of these matches that came about. Like I said, I'm relatively still new to this product, but I had to talk about it because I did, like many people that have been supporting the ROH product. Hey, ROH is getting ready to do their thing on pay-per-view. They're making their debut. Represent. I put the money in my mouth and I ordered ROH's Best in the World, and I have to tell you off the break, fucking not disappointed. Let me repeat that again. Fucking not disappointed. If we can make that catch on, we might have a new catchphrase there. Wasn't disappointed from beginning to end. Just a solid overall pay-per-view. Let's kick things off. We had the 6-man Mayhem match where the winner of that had got a future shot for the ROH Television Championship. We saw ACH, a lot of names right here. Good thing I got my notes. We saw ACH take on Oh God, I'm probably butchering the hell out of this name. I had it right before we came on the air. Takai, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Forgive me in advance. Takai Wananabe. I know that's his last name, Wananabe, taking on Caprice Coleman, Tadarius Thomas, B.J. Whitmore, and Tommaso Ciampa. Solid freaking six-man tag team match, six-man match that we saw right here. And it was kind of interesting the way that they had the rules laid out for this particular match. Basically, you had two guys that would start off, and you could basically go and tag somebody else in, and they would be the legal man. And it would just basically keep happening like that until somebody had eventually picked up a pin or submission victory. This wasn't a elimination match, if you will. At least from what I was seeing, it definitely was not a elimination match. And I mean, so many good spots in this match, man. I mean, I thought it was very fast paced. I thought it was one of those type of matches that definitely set the tone. It set the pace on what you could expect throughout this whole Best in the World pay-per-view event. We had saw ACH pick up the victory, so he has a date with Destiny as he is now the new #1 contender. He did a sick-ass 450 splash from the top turnbuckle on his former tag partner from Adrenaline Rush, Tadarius Thomas. I mean, it was a sick 450. I thought he was going to damn near miss it. I was kind of like, whoa, you know, that's how I was like, really? He just did that? Because it just kind of seemed like at one point maybe he was going to land head first into the canvas there. It looked kind of scary there, you know, but ACH, he got the job done, man. I really thought that was a very solid opener. Our next match, now this one I'm definitely very familiar with because I've been watching enough ROH TV. Matt Taven taking on Jay Lethal for the ROH Television Championship. These guys' rivalry, you know, it goes pretty much as far back, almost right around Best in the World, if you will. Matt Taven, he's pretty much been chasing Jay Lethal, trying to get another shot for the television title since. I know there was an episode of ROH TV from a couple of weeks ago where, if I'm not mistaken, Jay Lethal had defended the TV championship in a triple threat match against Taven and Tommaso. And we saw Truth Martini play a little bit of a role in helping Lethal with the retain. So going into this match, Nigel McGuinness, the ROH booker, manager, if you will, he basically laid it down to try to make sure that there wasn't going to be any interference from Truth Martini whatsoever, as during this match, Truth Martini would be handcuffed at ringside. So you're saying, okay, well, Truth Martini shouldn't really be a factor then during this match, right? Well, not necessarily, as we had saw, and this was my first time seeing this girl, but I was very, taken back by her presence. Not to mention, she looked pretty hot. I'm definitely going to be doing my business to dig up a little bit more info about her and get myself more familiar with her and her work. Salasia, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. A lot of these names are very new to me. Bear with me, longtime ROH fans. I promise you I will get these names down in due time. Just have a little faith in me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But she was basically the bodyguard. She serves as the bodyguard for Truth Martini. And it was so funny how this match was almost underway because Truth Martini, when it really kind of set in, oh man, I'm going to be handcuffed to the ring. I'm not really going to be able to help out my man Jay. He actually tried to run out the arena, and we saw his girl Salasia grab him and literally carried him back to the ring and was like, no, you got to get handcuffed. And so we saw him get handcuffed. Pretty much the match was underway after that. And you knew that somehow there was going to be some type of shenanigans that was going to go down in this match without a doubt. And it actually didn't come from Truth Martini's female bodyguard. No, it didn't come from her. Instead, we actually saw Truth Martini at one point not really keen on the fact that his client was getting his ass handed to him. And most importantly, there was a point in the match where it was going to be Truth Martini looking face to face with Matt Taven. And, you know, during the past several weeks, Martini's just been getting involved, really kind of screwing Matt out of the opportunity to become the ROH TV champion again. And just when it was looking as though Matt Taven was finally going to be able to get his hands on Truth Martini, he saw a security guard. I did know the guy's name, but it slipped past me. Forgive me. But we had saw Truth Martini say that, hey, he's a security guard anyway. I mean, you really shouldn't be knowing his name and all that. But in either case, we had saw Truth Martini give the security guard, rather buffed, very bulky security guard, gave him some money and said, look, come on, you got to step in here. Help me out here, man. Get this guy away from me. And we saw the security guard. He said, hey, you leave him alone. Get your ass back in the ring. And Matt wasn't trying to have that. He actually had tried to take a steel chair, take it to the head of the security guard. Didn't phase security one little bit. If anything, it pissed him off. He took off his shirt, and he was like, is that the best you got? That's the best you got. And they actually slapped each other for a hot second, and we saw Matt Taven deliver a nice, strong super kick to knock out the security guard. At this point, we actually saw Salasia come back, and somehow, I guess it was brute strength, guys. You can't make this up, but she was actually able to just rip Truth Martini's handcuffed to the ring post. She was just basically able to rip it and just helped him go flying to the backstage area. Meanwhile, as all this is going on, Matt had set up Jay Lethal in a way where he was out for a little bit. That's why he was trying to focus on Truth Martini, but once he saw he wasn't going to be able to get his hands on Truth, he decided to focus on Jay. We actually saw him go back in the ring. A little fuzzy towards the end. I want to say Matt tried to go for a high-risk maneuver and missed, but one thing I'm definitely certain of, because it was a very fast-paced type of match, and it was one of those matches where I was actually trying to interact with a lot of you guys on social media. And special shout out to those of you who I was interacting with, because a lot of you guys were really cool to me. As I had told you guys, I was still kind of relatively new to the ROH product, and a lot of you guys kind of went out of your way to kind of help me fill in the gaps of what I wasn't able to check out in between ROH TV and the pay-per-views and all that. You guys know who you are. Thank you tremendously. And we saw Jay Lethal. He came in with lethal injection, and my God, every single time I see Jay Lethal do that finisher, it is like insane. That is like probably one of like the sickest finishers I've seen. I thought AJ Styles Clash was something. What Jay Lethal does with lethal injection, I mean, it's truly something to just kick back and be like, damn. But we saw Jay Lethal retain his ROH TV championship. So now that that's kind of set in stone, it now looks as though ACH, somewhere down the road, we're going to be seeing him and Jay Lethal feud for that television championship. That should be a very good feud coming up too. I've seen a little bit of work from ACH. I've definitely been getting myself caught up on him, getting familiar with him, and I'm telling you, him and Jay, they are like almost equal, but I would have to give the slight edge to ACH, contrary to what some of you all may feel, as you probably are leaning more towards the veteran Jay Lethal and all. Hey, to each his own, but I think ACH is definitely going to give Jay Lethal a run for his money. Want to take this pause and welcome those of you that's checking out our ROH Best in the World recap and review for you all. If you're appreciating our recap and review, please go out of your way to give this piece a thumbs up. You can also post those comments down below. Share a number of ways, retweet, Facebook, Google+. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about us. And once again, if you're new to our channel and you're like, hey, somebody that covers ROH, as I know there's not really that many people here on YouTube that cover ROH, you will definitely find us talking about ROH. You know, it started off at one point, we would normally talk about ROH on our radio version of the RCWR show, and we do usually talk about ROH every other week, but we don't really show that much love on YouTube. But you know what, after tonight, I can tell you guys we're definitely going to be making a new commitment to spread the good word about ROH. There was one person who I was interacting with on Twitter, and they really said it best. And I just want to see if I can pull up their comment real quick, because they really said it best right here. Bear with me a second, because I thought they were very on point with what they said. If it's not that far in the bottom here, I'll definitely pull it up, because I want to give them credit for what they had said. But if I can't find their name, then we're just going to go on ahead and we're going to continue. Here we go. I think we found it here. Nope, we didn't find it yet. That sucks. I can't find the comment, unfortunately, but it was a young girl that had a very cool comment, I thought. She said, you know what? Ring of Honor is such a really great promotion. I don't understand why everybody just disses it. They disregard it. Instead, they just talk TNA and WWE. Folks should also be talking about ROH as well. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree. I know there's probably going to be a lot of people that checked out the ROH promotion for the very first time tonight because it was available to them on pay-per-view. As now, with what's going on with WWE, and it seems like cable satellite providers, they're just coming in left and right. They're saying, hey, if WWE's got this whole network thing, and people are basically going, why should I pay $40, $50, $60 for a WWE pay-per-view when I can go on the network and get it for $10? I mean, even if you're rich, even the rich love a good deal. Even the rich want to try to save a couple of bucks. They're going to go with the cheaper deal, you know? So a lot of cable satellite providers reevaluating their relationship with WWE, handling the pay-per-views on a case-to-case basis. No doubt this leaves a huge void in the wrestling industry as far as that pay-per-view coverage for wrestling promotions and all that. And what a great way for ROH to get the opportunity to just slide on in there. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk a little bit more about that. What I want to do right now, for those of you that's going to be checking out this recording later, you're going to be seeing a ad break right about now. Just bear with it for a couple of seconds. Then we'll come on back and we'll continue our talk of Ring of Honor's Best in the World 2014 pay-per-view fallout. You, my good friends, are checking out the RCWR show. And we are back. All right, let's continue on and let's talk about the Best in the World action. Our next matchup, it was Cedric Alexander taking on Roderick Strong in a submission match. If you're a little bit familiar with Cedric Alexander's style, you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, man, Cedric isn't really that much of a submission expert. Maybe the advantage is going to go to Roderick Strong here. You know, there's nothing wrong to say with regards to that. You have that right mentality if you're like Cedric Alexander is at a disadvantage. And then the other thing you couldn't help but say to yourself, how much of a factor was the decade going to be, as there were key members there at ringside. I believe it was Tadarius that was at ringside. And see, this is why I have notes right here, because I want to make sure I get all the names right. It was Tadarius Thomas, and who was the other one that was at ringside? I know the face. I'm actually looking on ROH's website now and trying to pull up the name for you guys, and I actually do not see him on the roster. I mean, what are the odds? Oh, no, there he is. Adam Page. I can't believe I forgot that. That's because I haven't seen Adam Page wrestle enough the times I've been checking out ROH TV. He's usually just there at ringside, kind of like a water boy / towel boy, basically. Tadarius I'm familiar with. All the other cats I'm familiar with, but kind of weird there that I can't remember Adam Page. I can remember the other guys. I can remember Jimmy Jacobs, but I can't seem to remember Adam Page. That's not good if the only thing I can think of is, hey, it's that guy with the towel, and he holds the water, and he gets stepped on a lot. That's not a good sign for me personally. I'm just saying, to each its own. But man, if you were looking for a really good technical matchup, if you really were kind of like, I need a break from all the high spots, I need a break from all the high flying action, can I just get a straight up technical match right here? This was basically one of two of the best matches of the night that I honestly felt. Or maybe we should stretch that out to three best matches of the night out of the whole 7 matches for this pay-per-view event. I'm going to say 3 out of 7, as we saw Cedric Alexander pull out some new moves from his arsenal, moves that we've never seen him do before. I mean, my God, Dragon Sleepers, a guillotine, a modified rear naked choke submission hold, but it was a frontal type of chicken wing hold. I mean, we saw him just busting out all the moves right here, even right down to the point where towards the end we actually saw Cedric put Roderick Strong in his own submission maneuver. Yes, the stronghold, which is basically a modified version of the Boston Crab. And that was pretty much how Cedric was able to beat Roderick Strong. He beat him with his own finishing maneuver. Post-match, you're saying to yourself, okay, well, surely after this, Roderick Strong is going to give Cedric the benefit of doubt, and he's going to shake his hand, as that's the tradition in ROH. You shake hands before and after. Well, we didn't see Roderick shake Cedric's hand before, and if you're a betting person, yeah, we did not see Cedric get a handshake from Roderick afterwards. So even though Roderick got his ass beat, it looks like Roderick Strong is still going strong there. And hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you know what? I'm hoping that these two guys lock it up again, because what they did tonight, man, I mean, they got a nice little story that's been stretching now between Cedric and pretty much the decade, if you will, as Cedric's whole argument is he's not getting the respect he feels he deserves and all of that, as he's been respectfully putting in his time, earning his creds little by little, match by match and all of that. Maybe this kind of sets it up in a way where we'll see these guys lock it up again. Who knows? Only time will tell. I want to go back to the first match for a moment. The 6-man Mayhem match. Those of you that saw the pay-per-view event tonight, do me a huge favor. Tell me, as well as the people that's going to be watching this, what the hell was up there with Steve Corneo, and I think it was Tommaso. It looked like post-match after ACH had won, it looked like there was a little bit of a scuffle that was going on, and I was very surprised that Kevin Kelly didn't follow up and say, what the hell was that about? It almost kind of seemed like that was something that, like, just happened that wasn't part of the show. I'm very curious what the hell that was about. I don't know if you guys had noticed it, but I saw Steve. He was, like, yelling at Tommaso, and there was, like, a shove, and Kevin Kelly, he, like, didn't acknowledge it whatsoever. If anything, it just kind of seemed like they were trying to go to the next video package to set up the next match. Anybody that saw that spot, let me and the other folks know what the heck that was about. Maybe we might have missed something during the whole ACH victory or whatever. Let's continue on. Briscoes taking on Michael Bennett and V1 Matt Hardy. Did you know, RCWR show fact, did you know that we actually had the opportunity to chat with Matt Hardy? Yeah, we had a really great conversation with him earlier this year. You can actually find it in our guest exclusive section right here on YouTube. So check it out when you guys get a chance. If you missed it the first go around, it was a really great conversation I had with him. We were talking all things wrestling. Great to see Matt Hardy. Looked to be in great in-ring shape. Still holding on to that Icon Championship that he was given to by Adam Cole there. And man, what can you say about the Briscoes? Them some rough boys, man. Them are some rough boys. I really had enjoyed the hell out of this match, especially when it got restarted. As let's be for real, The first go round, the match was good, but it kind of seemed like once the match got restarted, it was even better. Now, the match would get restarted pretty much as a result of, I think it was Michael Bennett and Matt Hardy. One of them had grabbed a steel chair, and they basically had took it to the body of one of the Briscoes. And we had saw the Briscoes basically cry foul. They thought it was bullshit. They demanded that Nigel McGuinness come out, do something about the match, restart it, do whatever he could to make things right. And Nigel did come out, and he said, okay, you know what, we're going to go on ahead. We're going to restart this match, and this time we're going to make it be a no disqualification match. Have fun. Go with chairs, go with ladders, do whatever, but this match restarts right now. So the match restarted, and pretty much after that, the Briscoes owned the hell out of Michael Bennett and Matt Hardy. I mean, you guys probably saw the tweet I had put out for Matt Hardy, because Matt Hardy, rest in peace, that man got destroyed big time. There was a sweet spot from the top of a ladder where he was fighting with Jay Briscoe, and man, it was just insane as Jay basically body slammed Matt Hardy through the wooden table, sent him crashing through it, and then he followed it up with his finisher to get the victory that way. You just couldn't help but feel bad for Matt Hardy, because he got butchered big time in this match. And for a brief moment, the Briscoes were holding on to the Icon Championship, but we had saw Maria Kanellis yoink real quick and ran her little happy ass to the back. So it looks like, despite the fact that the Briscoes had picked up the victory, they still do not have what counts the most, which is that Icon Championship. Solid matchup that was right there. Once again, rest in peace, Matt Hardy. We knew him so well. From there, we had saw what I thought was, if I was to say if there was like a weak spot of this entire pay-per-view event, I would definitely have to give it to Moose. Just so not commanding with presence, so not oozing with charisma or energy. I just basically heard wah, 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 wah. I was not interested in this segment until the beautiful and the lovely Veda Scott came in. Veda Scott, I don't know what it is about that girl. I've been infatuated with her for a long time now. I don't know if that's because white women are my kryptonite, whether it be a redhead, a blonde head, or a brunette. White women are just my kryptonite. Always makes me weak in the knees. I don't know what it is. Or maybe it's just the fact she just has one of those shitty type of attitudes. I don't know what it is, man, but there's something about her that I really dig a lot. I was so happy to see her crash this scene and interview Moose, because Moose was just, apparently Moose is a former football player, but I really could care less, because the way he talked, it was like, well, I'm really happy to be here tonight seeing Ring of Honor Wrestling, and I look forward to getting in the ring, paying my dues. And I just was not interested in that. I wasn't feeling that one little bit. I was bored out of my mind. Thank God Veda Scott came in. She hyped it up. And apparently it was so funny because I didn't even know this guy still had his streak. But apparently R.D. Evans, this man is still undefeated. My God, I think this man has like passed Goldberg. If he hasn't, he sure as hell like 2/3 there with 122 victories. No defeats yet. And Veda Scott's message to Big Moose was, hey, look, you see what I did for R.D. Evans? I can do the same thing for you. If you allow me to represent you, I can take you to those new heights. I can take you to the heights of success. And Big Moose, once again, With all due respect, I just want to watch Ring of Honor Wrestling. You know, I'm like, can you talk up a little louder, man? Can you get some freaking energy? Who the hell died? You know, Veta Scott was just left standing there like, wow, this guy kind of shot me down. What the hell? I'm Veta Scott. How can you shoot me down? And she just walked away very pissed off. Hopefully, the next time we see Moose, he will have developed a little bit more personality, and he will. I'll tell you what, if he hasn't developed any personality by then, hopefully they give him a couple of Monster energy drinks. Maybe that will like really boost the hell out of his energy and really sound, you know, for somebody that's happy to be there at Ring of Honor Wrestling. I couldn't really tell. Almost sounded like he was programmed to say that. By the way, Ring of Honor's Best in the World had took place in Nashville, Tennessee. I just think that's so freaking hilarious and so badass because guess what's not that far away in Tennessee or Nashville, Tennessee? Guess what's not that far away? TNA headquarters. I just think that's awesome. And by the way, I just love the cheap attempt that TNA Wrestling tried to do to ROH. Like, I want to say 2/4 into the pay-per-view tonight, Impact Wrestling, they put out like this week's tweet, and they also put out a status message on Facebook basically saying, look at these 3 people that's going to be coming to the New York City TNA tapings this week. It's going to be Homicide. Try to think who's the other one. Brian Cage. And the third one, I can't remember. That's how irrelevant it was. I couldn't help but just kind of take a little bit of a chuckle at those because I'm like, wow, you guys are really trying to get attention on yourselves, aren't you? And apparently these 3 guys were like dubbed for the Destination X event. Now some of you may be going, Brian Cage, who? And why should we give a hell? Just because I talked about him and I want to connect the dots for you guys. Apparently this was a guy that was in WWE developmental. He had like a fake Wolverine type of gimmick going on. That's basically all I know. I didn't get to see him in NXT and all that, and I've been checking it out off and on. If he did pop up on there, I didn't see it. I must have skipped it that week, but that gives you some insight right there. Let's continue on with the action for tonight's pay-per-view. My favorite man, I love this guy. He is the last real man, Silas Young, taking on Kevin Steen. Whew, man. Damn good match, man. Damn good match. You know, there's something about Silas Young that I really love. I mean, he's still young. He's only like 33, 34. Now, some of you guys may look at him and you're probably saying, damn, this guy looks pretty old. He looks like he might be in his 40s. That's just how he looks. I don't know if maybe he smokes or if he drinks. You know, I can't speak for the reason why he looks. I do admit he does look older, but no, on the contrary, he's actually in his 30s. I think he's 33 going on 34. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to see this man's work a couple of weeks back on ROH TV. And I was like, man, this guy freaking rocks. You know, he is just a great heel in the making, honestly. And I just love that chip that he has on his shoulders. And I love the backstory of his feud with Kevin Steen. As Kevin Steen, several weeks back, he was talking about basically retiring, and we saw Silas Young come out and basically say, man, you're out here talking to these people crying like a pussy. You know, what's wrong with you? You know, you're supposed to be this Steen fight guy. And I mean, he was really just working Steen up, and that's pretty much how this match came about. And these guys, it was a slugger fest. It was a damn slugger fest. These guys just went back and forth with one another. I was really under the impression that Silas Young was going to be picking up the victory here, but instead it went to Kevin Steen. And the main reason why I thought Silas Young was going to be getting is because I've just been so high on his work. And when I've talked to other people that are veteran ROH fans, and they gave me a little bit more insight on Silas Young, I kind of came to the same conclusion as them, which was, it'd be really awesome if Kevin Steen puts over Silas. That way it can kind of solidify him as like one of the top heels there in ROH. But the fact that things went down the way that it went down post-match, I had no problem with Kevin Steen picking up the win, because we saw Kevin Steen at the end. He basically gave this heartfelt speech, basically thanking Silas for the great match, and that, hey, he could call him whatever negative name. Kevin Steen, as far as he's concerned, the one thing that he won't ever say to Silas is that he's not an extraordinary wrestler. Basically, he was telling Silas, you got a very bright career ahead of you. If there's any part of you that respects me at all, if you're really a man's man, you'll come over here, you'll shake my hand, because he didn't do it before the match. But afterwards, we saw Silas. He did shake his hand. Kevin Steen would reveal that his days in ROH are numbered. He has about, if I'm not mistaken, I believe a month and a half, maybe about 2 months left on his contract, and he basically is saying he's going to be enjoying his time for what it's worth before he says goodbye. That's the way that he pretty much phrased it. So does this mean that Kevin Steen is maybe going to be going to WWE? Who knows? Is maybe this part of some type of a storyline? Who knows? Only time will tell. But one thing was for certain, as we saw Kevin Steen basically to the crowd and everything, and that was the sweet attack from behind by Silas Young. I mean, he beat the holy hell out of Kevin Steen, and I loved it. I loved it. Oh, great way for Silas Young, because I was so ready to kick back and say, okay, so you hype up the fact that Silas Young doesn't have Twitter. He's not a people's person. He doesn't wake up and say, hey, the sun is out. It's going to be a beautiful day. He's just always this melancholy, just a big old sack of negative energy type of guy, right? Yeah, you have him shake hands with Kevin Steen, and it's kind of like, wait a minute, this guy just kind of went 180 right here. I love the fact that he came right up from behind Kevin Steen and beat the crap out of him. I loved it. Gives him even more heat. I love that swerve, because it was kind of like, at least for the Nashville crowd, it was like, all right, Silas, hey, he's not that much of a bad guy after all. And then to see him a few seconds later come back and attack Steen, these guys definitely not over by a long shot. Looking forward to seeing what happens between these two on ROH TV. We only got a couple of more matches to talk about. Actually, we only have 2 more matches to talk about. What I want to do is take one last ad break. So for those of you that's going to be checking out this recording, you're going to be seeing an ad break right now. But when we come on back, we're going to go on ahead and we're going to finish up the talk of ROH's Best in the World 2014 pay-per-view. You are checking out the RCWR show. We'll be right back. And we are back. All right, let's go on ahead and let's finish up the talk of ROH Best in the World. 2 more matches to talk about. Very happy to see these 2 guys get in the ring here. Pretty much it was Frankie Kazarian's debut in ROH. Christopher Daniels returning to ROH for the first time in a few years. Yes, Daniels and Kazarian in Ring of Honor. And to that person that had put the tweet out there, now this was a recent tweet, so I can definitely give this person credit. And let's see if I can pull you up, hun, as it was a girl. I was amazed at how many girls were talking about ROH tonight. I loved it. Caramel Cream on Twitter, who had this to say with regards to Daniels and Kazarian in ROH again. Does that not show how idiotic Dixie Carter is for letting these guys go? Hashtag Best in the World 14. You're right, CC. You are right. I mean, what can you say about this match? I'll tell you what you can say about this tag team match, as Daniels and Kazarian had took on Bobby Fish and Cal O'Reilly, Red Dragon, for the ROH Tag Team Championships. best fucking match of the entire night. Let me go a step further than that. I've seen a lot of tag team matches this year, and I may have not seen all of them, and I have no problem seeing them. If you guys want to bring something to my attention, I'll definitely check it out. But so far, what I've seen of this calendar year, up to this quarter that we're in, as it's now officially the beginning of summer, I would have to say Daniels, Kazarian, taking on Red Dragon. Best damn tag team match I've seen this year. One of the best, okay? Christopher Daniels, you got to give it up to this guy. 44 years of age. Let me repeat that again. 44 years of age. This man has found some type of fountain of youth because this man was able to hang with a tag team half his age almost, you know. Frankie Kazarian, not so much up there in age. Frankie Kazarian, only 36. All right, so basically between Daniels and Kazarian, you're almost talking like a 10-year difference, just about. You know, but, I mean, these guys went in there, and they had the best freaking tag team match. I mean, CC, to echo exactly what you said, a bad move on behalf of Dixie Carter. I mean, I could understand it if maybe Dixie said to herself, you know what, I want to keep one half of Bad Influence. I want to keep the half that I know somewhere down the line I could maybe give a TNA World Heavyweight Championship to, you know? Or I want to have one of the Bad Influence guys that I know could be fighting for the TNA Championship. Notice how I phrased that. So you can either have them feud for the championship or you can have them be a TNA champion. And if she would have went in those respective routes and been like, okay, let's get rid of Kazarian and let's keep Daniels, I think a lot of us, especially the veteran TNA fans or the fans that just love all shapes of wrestling, they get their fix from various promotions, and they would have seen this move go down by TNA, they probably would have been fine for it. But the fact that you also got rid of Daniels, yeah, a very boneheaded move, I must say. But you know what? TNA's, how can I phrase this, stupidity is Ring of Honor's gain. And anybody that wants to doubt Daniels and Kazarian, you need to order this pay-per-view and you need to check out this match. Great tag team bout that we had right here. Red Dragon, still the TNA. I said TNA. I apologize. I know why I said TNA though. Still the ROH tag team champion. Handshakes before and after. I thought it was kind of funny as Kevin Kelly had brought up the fact that, you know, when Daniels was here in ROH, he wasn't a big fan of the handshakes. Let's see how much time has passed, if he's going to do it now, if he's going to embrace it. Daniels did embrace it. But, you know, I had no problem with the booking for this. I was not expecting Daniels and Kazarian to get the ROH tag titles, because if they would have gotten the ROH tag titles, for me personally, I just would have felt that it would have devalued Red Dragon a bit. You know, you build them all up to this point, and then to just have them drop the straps to two guys that's pretty much making their debut or re-debut, however you want to phrase it. First timing in ROH this go round, you're just going to have them drop the straps to... No, I thought it was great booking on ROH's part. If anything, to me, not that Red Dragon needed the elevation, but I tell you what, to take on a formidable team in D&K, it definitely put their stock up even higher, to the point I'm hoping that ROH is going to be looking at some more feuds between these two tag teams, because I think they're really on to something right there. It was announced during this pay-per-view event that Adam Cole, Red Dragon, and Michael Bennett have been selected to represent ROH, as they're going to be going over to the New Japan Pro Wrestling promotion, I believe, in August. So they're going to be out there for some several dates. So I thought that was pretty interesting to note. Let's talk about the main event match for the ROH World Championship. It was Kevin Steen taking on the unbreakable Michael Elgin. A lot at stake right here. You talk about the humiliation that Michael Elgin had went through as Adam Cole had cut his hair. They did a figure four to his wife, Mischief. The big payback. That's what you're saying to yourself right here. Great match. Great matchup. Great closer. This is pretty much what it all had built up to, and we aren't going to jump there like some people are probably going to do it on YouTube. I'm actually trying to respect the ROH fans, because the ROH fans, they love their ROH product and all that, and I know there are some of you guys that don't really want there to be a whole boatload of spoilers, so we try to do our best to keep this spoiler for you guys, even right down to the title of this piece. But folks, it took an appearance by Matt Hardy, Maria Kanellis, Michael Bennett, Mischief to try to come out and balance things out. It took a referee, Sinclair at that. Funny line that we had in there too, as at one point, referee Sinclair, he had saw Michael Elgin struggling to get back in the ring, and it was like one of the longest 10 counts I've ever experienced seeing in all my years of watching wrestling. The match should have been over, but we just saw, I mean, put it to you this way, the way Sinclair was counting, we should have been up to 60, okay? And he was just trying to give Elgin every single inch of an opportunity to get back in the ring. And it was so funny because Kevin Kelly, he said this line, and I was just rolling after this. Kevin Kelly had said, is there any way, he said something along the lines of, is Michael Elgin in any shape to continue? And then, and then you had Steve come in, and he goes, is referee Sinclair in any shape to continue? And I was like, damn, that's cold. You know, but I couldn't help but laugh at it. But we did see Michael Elgin get back in the ring and everything. And I mean, my God, those two guys, they just went back and forth. And like I said, there was a lot of players that was involved on both sides. I mean, so many damn near encounters. It was really looking as though Michael Elgin was going to come up very, very short. But folks, we have a new Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, and his name is Michael Elgin. Yes, Michael Elgin is your new ROH champion. Man, you know, I'm happy to say that I got on board the Michael Elgin bandwagon right before all this even happened. I'm happy to say I was instantly a big fan of his work earlier this year, beginning of this year, when we first started covering and checking out the ROH promotion. And, you know, when you just hear about his story and you hear about all the time that he's put in the wrestling industry, and to finally see him get to this point where he's finally crowned a ROH champion, and for the first time at that, this is the first time he's ever become a ROH champion. I mean, it couldn't happen to a more cooler guy, a more kick-ass guy. You know, nothing against Adam Cole. Adam Cole represented ROH as its champion very, very well. I know there was a period there where it kind of looked as though ROH fans were kind of saying to themselves, just what exactly is going on with ROH, because we had saw a lot of people pass through there over the years, some really great ROH champions. Daniel Bryan Danielson. We saw CM Punk. A lot of names. I mean, we could sit here all night long and go through all the people that came through ROH and went on to bigger and better things. And I know that at one point it was kind of looking as though maybe, somewhat maybe, dark days were ahead for ROH. But I tell you, they had the right guys in at the right time. And Adam Cole, definitely, you know, if there is one regret I have personally, I wish I would have been watching ROH more religiously, more sooner, so that I could really appreciate the magnitude of how long Adam Cole had held on to that championship. And, you know, because I hear from a lot of ROH fans how much of a badass that he was and still is when he was holding on to that strap and everything. But you know what? We got a new era. We got Michael Elgin in there. And, you know, I can't help but wonder down the road, thinking about the future, if we have Kevin Steen, if he really is going to be making his exit from the ROH promotion, are we maybe going to see two big worlds collide in Kevin Steen and Michael Elgin? Because, I mean, you know, that would be a phenomenal freaking match. I would pay big money to see that go down, especially if it's going to be Kevin Steen's last match in ROH. I say let that guy go out on a good note, since he is a former ROH champion, and let's see him do the good deed and help put over Michael Elgin. Not that he really needs it, but just to kind of solidify that spot even more, you know. I think that would be badass. Let's break down this pay-per-view overall, though. You know, there's a lot of things that companies like WWE, TNA Wrestling, and other promotions can really learn from what ROH did tonight. They didn't hit us up with the slapstick comedy. They rarely never do, honestly, not even on ROH TV. They didn't hit us up with the whole, I'm going to take 15 minutes to kill some time and talk. As we see on any given pay-per-view night, that's what will happen from one of the other two promotions. They didn't hit us up with that. They do the same thing on ROH. Everything that we saw tonight with this Best in the World pay-per-view reflects what you get to see every single week on ROH TV. And it was just so simplistic. They just had the guys go out there. They have the great in-ring ability. They have the great persona. They have the connection with the audience. They got the fan base, whether they're liked, whether they're cheered, they're booed, they're still getting some type of a reaction. You know, their characters are going over, and their characters are going over because they're putting themselves, their actual personalities to a certain extent, in these characters. And it's happening in a way where they aren't sitting around waiting for creative to give them something. They're just going out there and doing what they know how to do best, which is tell a really great story with as very little writing done as possible. And I think there's a lot that WWE and TNA should take note of from ROH, because I'm with you guys, and I've been saying it off and on for the longest time this year, and I can't stress it enough. ROH is the new number 2 company. Whether some people want to agree or disagree, whether you like it or not, ROH is the new number 2 company. And I tell you what, man, I can't wait to see more ROH pay-per-views in the future. And I'm hoping that there is going to be some network out there that's going to be like, you know what, we need to get these guys on a much bigger scale and give them that deal. I mean, Sinclair Broadcasting, you know, they're a pretty small little company. They own a majority of ROH. It's really going to be ultimately up to them to decide whether or not they want to help ROH branch out even further and really extend them and get them nationally syndicated. Because as it stands right now, you know, unfortunately, ROH is only shown in select cities. And I've said this from time to time. If you're in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, unfortunately, you know, it's not like you can be in Northwest D.C. and you can basically have whatever cable satellite provider, boom, you're going to be able to watch ROH. Unfortunately, it's not like that. You know, for DC residents, it's kind of sad because you actually have to be living like pretty much deep out in Baltimore just to be able to get ROH TV. If you're in Virginia, you got to be like deep out in Virginia. So really at this point, a lot of folks are relying on the ROH website to be able to see what's going on with ROH TV. I'm hoping that in the next maybe 2 to 3 years, we see ROH get to a point where they're nationally syndicated, you know, because I think in order for them to really seal the deal and claim that number 2 spot, they're definitely going to need a nationwide television deal. But with this whole thing with pay-per-views, They're definitely coming in at a great time. They're filling a void because wrestling fans, they need that fix. They want to get that fix somehow, especially those, and you'd be surprised, there is that core audience that refuses to get the WWE network, even if it's for a really great deal. They refuse to get it. You have that core audience that's out there that is saying to themselves, well, if WWE is going to do this, then I'm going to take my money elsewhere. So as long as you have wrestling fans that want that fix, they have that craving for wrestling, then there's always going to be a market for it. And I think with the cable satellite providers that picked up on tonight's pay-per-view, definitely the future is looking very bright for Ring of Honor. I'm very happy to say that before all this pay-per-view talk came on board, that I got on board ROH just in time. And, I'm very proud to see what the future brings for them. But I would have to say they hit a home run tonight with this pay-per-view. They did a phenomenal job. Hats off to the men, women, the announce team. Everything just flowed so well. As I said, so simple. Just great in-ring action. Not a bunch of hula, silly bull crap. What you saw tonight for the pay-per-view, and it was your first time checking it out, is exactly what you get when you check out ROH TV. So for those of you new to the ROH product, I really hope that after hearing this review, that if anything, you become even more passionate enough to want to go out of your way and not just follow ROH throughout social media, but support and follow all the wrestlers of ROH and check out all the events that they're going to be doing, whether it's pay-per-view, iPay-per-view, because this is a really great product. And let me put it to you this way, and I'm going to say this in closing as we get ready to bring in you all's comments, see if you all have anything to say about the ROH Best in the World pay-per-view tonight. I cover a lot of wrestling here every single week. I cover WWE Raw, Main Event, SmackDown, the pay-per-views, TNA, its pay-per-views. We cover OVW. We cover ROH. We cover Shine Wrestling. Once in a blue moon, we'll talk about some indie promotions that seems to be creating a lot of buzz and everything. So we cover a lot, is where I'm getting at. And I can tell you one of my greatest highlights of the night, if I were to just make a list from top to bottom of the shows that I look forward to checking out every single week, it would go as followed: NXT, ROH, WWE Raw, TNA Impact, SmackDown, OVW. I mean, that's pretty much the list. Look at those top three that I named right there. That should really tell you guys how far along ROH has come. You know what I'm saying? Just some food for thought right there. Let's go on ahead and let's pull up you guys' comments and let's see if there's anything you have to say with regards to tonight's pay-per-view event. I'm going to refresh this here. We'll take it from the bottom and we will work our way to the top here. Let's see what you guys are saying. That's good. Not really that much comments coming in. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see what y'all got to say, though. The Bad Guy. It was a good show. I've missed some ROH TV shows, so I was behind on what was going on. Besides the Jay Lethal versus Matt Taven match for the ROH TV title, and Daniels and Kazarian making their ROH returns, and Michael Elgin versus Adam Cole for the ROH Championship. That seems like a cliffhanger, big guy or bad guy. I'm like waiting for the cliffhanger. It's like you gave me the subject, but where's the predicate? I was waiting for you to say it was a fantastic show tonight. I'm waiting for the cliffhanger, man. Let's see. Professor Anna, I'm waiting for you guys' review. I need to know the juicy details right now. I'm counting on you guys to provide me with that. Say it all uncensored. I need to know everything. Well, Professor, I hope we did you justice, man. I hope that we really went in depth and we did this review justice. I know that it was probably a little bit shaky and a little bit rough around the edges, especially with pronouncing some of these people's names. Just work with me in due time. Longtime ROH fans that's probably going to be checking this out. I promise you I will stay diligent. That's the thing about me. If I don't pronounce somebody's name right or I missed a spot here or there, I definitely make it be my business to learn. And that's the beautiful thing I love about this job is I'm always learning something new. The day that I stop learning stuff from doing this, I probably would just step to the side, let somebody else do this. Professor, damn, so mad I missed it. Well, dude, you got more than an opportunity now to check it out on pay-per-view. Order the bad boy, man. ABT, are you aware that it's a 20 count in ROH? So it wasn't that long. ABT, I was under the impression that it was actually a 10 count, but if you're saying it's actually a 20 count in ROH, no, my friend, I actually did not know that. Thank you for pointing that out to me. Buddy, great fucking pay-per-view, no doubt about it, man. King FW, is Christopher Daniels in ROH? If so, does he actually perform the Angel Wings finisher? He was one of my favorite wrestlers, but I have not seen him use that move since before his feud with AJ Styles. To be honest, I do not watch ROH at all, but I am subscribed to their YouTube channel. I trust your opinion and should check out this pay-per-view. Love the content, man. Hey, King, I appreciate those kind words right there, man. And trust me, you definitely will not be disappointed. And this is coming from somebody that's not like a hardcore ROH fan. This is coming from somebody that well, I've been watching ROH for years and years and years. There's nothing like that at all. And that's why I keep telling you guys. Because, originally, when we first started our show, all we talked about, 2-3 years ago was WWE and TNA. And then, late last year, going into the beginning of this year, I said, okay, New Year's resolution, we need to do our best to cover more promotions, and ROH was at the very top of the list. So when January of this year rolled around, we just started talking about ROH, and, we gradually started working our way to the point of where we're at right now. We're just talking about their pay-per-view and everything, and I can definitely tell you this much. Once again, I stressed it earlier. I can't stress it enough. We're going to give ourselves a new commitment to covering ROH because this promotion, they deserve it. They are deserving of it. To not talk about them would basically be turning a blind eye, and that just would not be fair to the ROH promotion or the ROH fans. Edgar, Spotfest plus psychology equals ROH wrestling. yeah, that's another way of looking at it too, my friend. And other than that, wait. Yep, looks like that is it for now. All right, so look, I want to give you guys a quick heads up. We are going to be doing a RCWR show live, but it's probably not going to air until Tuesday morning, so maybe 12:30 a.m. And the reason being is later on this evening, as it's now midnight, the beginning of Monday, June 23rd, I'm actually going to be going to see WWE Raw at the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. It's the final WWE Raw as the company makes its way to Boston for their Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Wish me luck, guys. I mean, the product has changed dramatically past several weeks since we no longer have a Daniel Bryan as the champion, and it kind of looks like the Authority is taking a little bit of a back seat. But one good bright spot that's going on right now is the Shield and or former members of the Shield and what's going on with them. So hopefully it'll be a really great show. I'm going to be taking my camera. I'll be taking lots of pictures. If you're following us throughout social media, feel free to say hello, retweet, share the pictures that we're going to be putting out there for folks to check out. And that is going to do it. I definitely would love to hear from you guys with regards to our ROH coverage. At this point, we're kind of doing this pay-per-view coverage as a test run. I'm going to be paying attention to how many likes, dislikes, views that this gets. If you want for us to cover more ROH on our YouTube channel, if you want for us to cover even more ROH on our radio shows. I mean, we talk about it every couple of weeks, but if you guys really want us to go out of our way and make sure that ROH is constantly in rotation every single week, post those comments down below. Let me know. I'll give you guys a couple of weeks. That way we can gather as much feedback as possible, and you guys will have a say. If you want us to continue, we definitely will. I mean, like I said, we're looking to show new commitment to ROH. I would love to do nothing more than cover ROH. I truly feel it's the #2 company that's out there right now. That's what I want. You guys may disagree with it. If you do disagree, then give me some really good arguments why we shouldn't be covering ROH. But I have a feeling in about 2 weeks after we get you all's input, a lot of you are going to be like, let's do it, man. Let's talk about ROH more. Yes, more ROH exclusives on YouTube. But post those comments down below. Get it rolling. You can also follow us on Facebook, Infinity One Productions. That's Infinity with an E, and throw the actual one in there. You actually have to spell out one. It's not just the number one. You got to say Infinity One Productions, and we'll definitely hook you guys up. And other than that, you know, myself and the beautiful and the lovely Tammy, we actually went to the DC Improv Comedy and Restaurant Club to go see Mick Foley for his Hardcore Legends comedy tour. I had the opportunity to meet with the man, talk with him, take a photo op, get some signed autographs from him. It was a really great experience. If you have yet to go see Mick Foley's comedy tour, it's on our YouTube channel right now. Backtrack, check it out. We went really in depth. I mean, we went all over the place. We didn't just talk about one thing. I mean, it was a variation of things that just really was covering our overall experience of it. Show it some love when you guys get a chance. We got episodes available for you guys on the downloads. Links are all provided in the episode description. Check it out when you guys get a chance. Buy some of our merchandise. Once again, link is in the description as well. One more time, man, if you enjoyed our recap and review, give it a thumbs up. Share it a number of ways. Google+, Facebook, retweet it, as it's one of the many ways you can spread the good word about us. And that's going to do it. Love you guys. Thank you for staying up late with us. A very good night and good morning. And we will see you in just a handful of hours for our WWE Raw coverage Tuesday morning, June 24th at 12:30 a.m. or just basically 1 hour after Raw goes off on the East Coast. Till then, folks, take care. Ciao.